Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters guests, we just came out of the holiday season, and I want to talk about Thanksgiving. Did everybody have a nice Thanksgiving?
Yes.
Mine was miserable. Mine started at 7 o'clock in the morning. It was cold. Not quite as cold as it is now, but it was cold and it was windy. And I'm down there at Turner Field. Freezing my tail off, hopping around. I got short pants, long sleeves, and gloves, hopping around with about 10,000 other people. The Atlanta Half Marathon was this past Thanksgiving. They have it every year, starting at Turner Field. And I'm sitting there, freezing cold. There's people of all shapes, sizes, and costume attire. And we're waiting for the start of the race. We're all bunched up in our different groups. I never understood why they group runners by age group. I think it should be weight class. Some of those runners are not in my weight class. When as my group gets closer and closer to the starting line, you feel the excitement building as you're ready to start this race. But if you ever run a half marathon, you know that the story doesn't start there. The story starts several months ago, or at least I hope it does. For me, it started in the summer, early fall. I had a week of vacation with the family. We were down at the beach, and I realized that I need to lose some weight. I got to get in better shape. I hadn't been exercising as I should. So I started running. I wanted to be like Sutam. I wanted to get out there and run a little bit, to get in better shape, lose some weight. So I started running, but I could barely run 2 miles without wanting to stop, without wanting to die. See, as Jim talked about, my mind had created an illusion that I could still do the things that I could do when I was 20 or 30 years old. But my body was not the case. So I started running, and I started running a little bit regularly, 3 times a week. Started trying to get it a little bit further and further. You know, the best way to get to where you can run 2 miles comfortably is to run 4. So I tried to start stretching it out a little bit, but I really didn't know what I was going to do at the time. I was just trying to run a little bit. I didn't have a motivation, so I needed to get invested in what I was doing. I'll give you a quick story about getting invested in what you're doing. I was in a airport the other day, and this guy was standing there looking at the urinal. And I said, what are you looking at? He said, there's a $5 bill in the bottom of the urinal. That's a tough one, buddy. You know what he does? He takes a $50 bill out of his pocket and throws it in the urinal. Now he's invested. It's easy to get the $5 bill out of the bag. It's a 10% return. For me, the investment came when I signed up for the half marathon. So I decided if I'm going to do something, I'm going to sign up for it and commit myself to running the half marathon. So I signed up, I committed to doing it. But all throughout the training, I had to deal with the little voice in the back of my head saying, why are you doing this again? This doesn't make any sense at all. And you question yourself all throughout the process. Why are you doing this? Well, you have to overcome those. That's one of the things that you have to overcome if you're going to do anything that's difficult. Get up here and give a speech or do anything that takes commitment. You have to overcome that voice in your back of your head saying, why am I doing this? So let's get back to the marathon. Here I am running through downtown Atlanta. We're running all the way through Atlanta, around Georgia Tech, around Atlantic Station. And in my mind, I can't comprehend running 13 miles. So I have to break it down. The way I decided to do it was, I'm going to run 5 miles. We'll get through the first 5 miles, I'm going to get some water, and then I'll get through the next 5 miles. And then I only got 3 miles to go. Well, I'm counting the miles. I count get through the first mile. I'm like, all right, got it. And 4 more miles to get to that 5-mile mark. And I get to the second mile. And I get to, right as we're entering Atlantic Station, I see the 4-mile mark. Like, all right, one more mile, and I'm hurting this time. My feet are hurting, my hands are frozen, but I'm running through this thing, and I gotta get to the 5 mile mark so I can get some water because I'm running out of energy anyway. And I'm running up through Spring Street, and this last mile is killing me. If the 5 miles is this hard, I don't think I'm going to be able to finish this thing. Well, I see Piedmont Park coming up, and I see a water station right inside Piedmont Park. And I said, I'm going to have to stop there. I don't know where 5 miles, how much farther I have to go to get to 5 miles, but I'm going to stop there. I'm going to get some water. So I got the water and started running. And right as I rounded the corner inside Piedmont Park, I see the mile marker sign. It was the 6 mile mark, though. And that gave me the encouragement I needed and to keep going. I was like, somewhere along the way, I missed the 5 mile mark, but I made it to 6 miles. The other thing about the 5 mile mark, the first 5 miles was, in my mind, my investment in that day. I figured if I got to the 5 mile mark, I'm almost halfway there, I can get through the rest of it. So that was my investment for that day. And then I had to still battle those inner voices in my head, especially when those little old ladies were passing me by. And they were like power walking. I'm running as in my mind, I'm thinking, I'm running like this. But I'm really like. But I will tell you, I did overcome all those things. And I got this little medal right here for finishing the half marathon. In fact, I came in 3rd place. 4,083rd. But when you're coming up on something that's difficult, something that's hard, my recommendation is break it into little pieces. If it's 5, 5, and 3, or if it's 13 1-mile runs, break it up into something that you can do. One little thing to get you started. Get invested so that you're committed to doing it, and then don't listen to those voices in the back of your head. Toastmasters.